Have you ever wondered why Pizza Hut is called Pizza Hut? I mean, the word hut brings to mind something small, cozy, maybe even a little rustic. But Pizza Hut today is a massive global pizza chain with sleek restaurants and delivery apps. So what's the story behind that name? And here's the real question. Did Pizza Hut's first customers actually eat in a hut? Let's go back in time to the birth of this iconic pizza brand and uncover whether the name was just a clever idea or a literal description. Right here on History of Simple Things. The story of Pizza Hut starts in Wichita, Kansas, in the summer of 1958. Two college brothers, Dan and Frank Carney, were attending Wichita State University. Their father ran a small grocery store, and the Carneys had grown up in a business-minded household. At the time, pizza wasn't the mainstream American staple it is today. It was still a bit exotic, mainly found in Italian neighborhoods or big cities like New York and Chicago. In Kansas? Not so much. But that's exactly why it intrigued the Carney brothers. A friend of theirs suggested they open a pizza parlor, and the idea sparked something. They thought, why not? They borrowed $600 from their mom and started looking for a small space to rent. That's when they found a tiny brick building at 503 South Bluff Street. It had a low roof, limited space, and only enough room on the sign out front for 8 letters. So, here's where the name comes into play. The brothers wanted the word pizza on the sign. That was non-negotiable. But with only 3 more spaces left, they had to get creative. They tossed around a few ideas, but someone, some say it was their sister-in-law, looked at the building's small boxy shape with its slanted roof and said, why not just call it Pizza Hut? And that was it. Pizza Hut fit perfectly on the sign. It was short, catchy, and well, the building did kind of look like a hut. But was it actually a hut? Well, not exactly. It wasn't made of bamboo or sticks or anything you'd find on a beach in the tropics. It was a simple, nondescript brick building. Not glamorous, not spacious, but cozy enough to serve a few customers and cook a few pizzas. In other words, it wasn't a hut in the literal sense, but it was humble. And that's probably the closest it ever got to being a real hut. So, who were the first customers to walk into this so-called Pizza Hut? Mostly locals, friends from the university, curious passers-by who had heard about this new pizza pie place. Remember, this was a time when most people in Kansas had never tasted pizza before. So for many of them, this wasn't just a new restaurant. It was a completely new experience. Customers would walk in, take a seat in the tiny dining area, and watch as the Carney brothers tossed dough and slid pizzas into the oven. It was intimate, personal, almost like eating in someone's kitchen. So while it wasn't a hut in the traditional sense, straw roof and all, it did feel homey. The first customers didn't just eat pizza. They became part of a new food culture being born right in front of them. The small pizza shop was a hit almost immediately. Dan and Frank realized they had something special, and just 6 months later, they opened a second location. By the end of their first year, they were up to 6 Pizza Hut restaurants. What helped them grow was the simplicity of their idea. Great pizza, fast service, and a name that people remembered. Plus, the name Pizza Hut had a certain charm. It sounded casual, accessible, and maybe even a little fun. By the early 1960s, they began franchising. By the 70s, Pizza Hut had become a household name across America, and through all of it, that name, Pizza Hut, stuck. Even as the restaurants got bigger, more modern, and far from hut-like, The name carried nostalgia and identity. Now here's another twist. When you think of Pizza Hut, you probably picture that famous red roof, right? The trapezoid shape with big windows and a sloped roofline. That design became iconic in the 1970s. It was created by architect Richard D. Burke to give Pizza Hut restaurants a recognizable identity, something you could spot from down the road. These buildings weren't actual huts either, but the roof shape played off the name and gave it a visual brand. So even if you'd never been inside, you'd know it was Pizza Hut just by the silhouette. It was branding genius. From a tiny brick building in Wichita to instantly recognizable structures worldwide, the word hut evolved from humble origins to a global icon. Today, Pizza Hut looks a lot different. Many of the old red roof buildings have been retired or repurposed. Newer locations are often takeout-focused, sleek, and tech-enabled, but that doesn't mean the charm is gone. If anything, the brand has embraced its roots. Some locations use retro-style logos. Vintage Pizza Hut memorabilia is popular online, and people still smile when they hear the name. Because let's face it, Pizza Hut just sounds better than pizza store or pizza place. It's got character, it's got history. And yes, it reminds us of that small, unassuming building in Kansas where it all began. So let's circle back to our original question. Did Pizza Hut's first customers actually eat in a hut? The honest answer is not really. They ate in a tiny building, one that was cozy, definitely humble, and maybe hut-like in spirit, but not a hut in the traditional sense. So the next time you drive by a Pizza Hut or open their app to order a pepperoni pan pizza, remember? It all started with two college kids, a borrowed $600 loan, a tiny brick building, and a sign that could only fit 8 letters. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.